All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Sorry for the late start. We had to get some connections. I've done this before without the presentation. It just doesn't have the impact. So this presentation today, it's actually pulled from a 7-hour live workshop that I've given 8 times in Washington State, around the state, and it's helped us out tremendously in growing our party. Last year we had 220 people show up at our state party convention, and as far as I know, it was the 2nd largest in the entire country. The year before that, we had the largest state party convention in the entire country. This year, we're looking at anywhere between 300 to 400 people coming to our convention.
Decent speakers, too.
Great speakers, yes. Fantastic. Wonderful lineup of speakers. I think we have the national chairman that's actually going to be speaking.
Yeah, and you have some good speakers, too.
So like I said, this is part of a full-day training that I give, level 1. I'm the chairman of the Libertarian Party of Washington State. I was just elected last year. I'm serving 1 year term. We've got new leadership stepping up, and then I'm stepping down to the local level to support a specific county that I live in and a specific town as well as some state rep seats. Former Northern Vice Chairman, Libertarian Party of California. I've been through years of Toastmasters training for public speaking. These are 10,000 voter registration forms from the state of California. When I was Northern Vice Chairman there, we passed them out trying to get libertarians registered. They changed the laws. We had to get over 101,000 registered libertarians, and we did that. Bumped it up from 80,000 to 101. It wasn't all our doing. People were just registering libertarian as well. But it's good when you have the resources to be able to do those type of things. I've done a lot of signature gathering, petitioning, just going out and talking about the Libertarian Party. This was at Spokane Community College. We ended up getting 80 people signed up, a little over 80 people, just in one day. Just in one day. So people are ready for it. They're ready for something new, even if they don't understand it completely in the beginning. You just get them on board, get their information, you can follow up later. This is my brother, big libertarian. Sometimes I think he's more libertarian than me, but he got Batman and Iron Man to sign the petition, so they're now libertarians. This was at Sacramento Comic-Con. I spoke in front of city councils. This is in Sacramento, but I've spoken multiple city councils in Washington State, fighting marijuana memorandums, increased gun control measures, tax measures, things like that. I've also spoke. This is at HempFest. There was 300,000 people that came through there, and I got an awesome spot. It was right after Everlast played on the main stage. Wow. So the founder of HempFest and the organizer, Vivian McPeak, is a big supporter of the Libertarian Party. Gary Johnson spoke last year, Judge Bray the year before that. You know, so we always make sure to ping us and have our people come and speak. This upcoming year we have candidates. Multiple candidates are going to be speaking on stage, former candidates and incoming candidates. So I've started 4 organizations. Gold Torch Consulting is my main one that I work. We've got Dog Chase, it's launching in July. Can-Air is launching next month. And then Libertarian Leadership, I just offer free training on libertarianleadership.org. There's some fundraising videos, there's some campaign strategy training, how to recruit volunteers. So if you need more information like that after this, please feel free to go there, sign up. Can you pass these around, please? And if everyone could go ahead and fill out their name, number, email, and then maybe comments, or if you have any questions about anything during the presentation, you can write those down. And hopefully I'll have time for question and answer. If not, I can respond later in an email. I've written the book, Libertarian Leadership. I've got a new book coming out called Libertarian Lion. That's what my training today is about. And I didn't go through all this stuff to say, hey, look at me, look at everything I've done. I went through all this so you would understand that I barely graduated high school and I did not go to college, not a day. Okay, so it was my junior year in high school when I was sitting in small business management class, and I found out that the small business management teacher had no small business management experience whatsoever. She never owned a business in her entire life, and she was teaching out of a book. So I thought, well, hey, if I could just learn out of this book, why do I need to sit in a classroom? Because I hated that. I hated sitting in one spot and have to learn information that you wouldn't necessarily need. So all my learning from then on has been targeted education. So specific to whatever task it is or whatever skill that I want to learn. Rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Who here has seen the Robin Hood with Russell Crowe? couple people. Great movie. I love it. This part here in that movie is the main reason why I love it. Rise and rise again until lambs become lions. We can choose, we can make a choice on the skills that we know, on what we do, the confidence level we have. It's a choice to us, whether we're going to be servants to the government or we're going to step up, recruit other people to take back the government. A nation of sheep soon begets a government of wolves. So my main focus in politics is obviously the Libertarian Party. It's not the Republican Party. It's not the Democrat Party. It's the Libertarian Party because it's the only political party that lines up with my beliefs. Makes sense, right? I'm a Libertarian. It should be within the Libertarian Party. Not everyone believes that, but the Statue of Liberty has been the official mascot of the Libertarian Party, correct? It's in the logo. Now, I know there's some logo changes coming, but this is the current logo still. And a lot of people identify the porcupine as being the unofficial animal mascot of the Libertarian Party. Okay, now, I've got nothing against the porcupine. However, personally, as a Libertarian, I believe I can pick whatever animal mascot I want.
Who's going to stop you?
Who's going to stop me, right?
There's no mandatory. No mandatory.
So, I've chosen the lion as my animal mascot for the Libertarian Party. And there's a couple of reasons, and I'm going to go through them right now. So the porcupine is more of a defensive animal, right? It's got all the spikes sticking out. You know, you don't want to mess with the porcupine because it'll sting you. It reminds me of some libertarians that I know. Right? You know, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Libertarians, you know, they want to be left alone. I want to be left alone. But there comes a point in time where just staying to ourselves and trying to be left alone, eventually these political hyenas have been taking over our territory and backing us up, and now we're pretty much in a corner with how many rights we have left, or the permission that we have to do whatever it is we want. There's not a whole lot of it left. I think pretty much everything nowadays we have to get permission for. You want to cut hair? You need to do 1,600 hours of training, supervised. It's less than what you need to be a cop. At least that's in Washington. The lion is more of an offensive creature, right? It can take over new territory, it can take back territory that was stolen from it. So, you know, I'm not looking at the lion as, hey, let's go out and eat all these people or sheep or whatever. I'm looking at it as a figure of more like Narnia, right? Where you have the lion who's there to protect, right? Not there to prey.
Kind of like a sheepdog then?
A sheepdog, yeah. Someone had suggested that in the past, but it's not as fierce enough. Okay, so, let's see, come on. Uh-oh.
I have trouble with my click like that too.
Did I lose it? There we go. So, I look at the porcupines as a defensive line of the Libertarian Party. We've been on the defense for a long time, right? Oh, there's this new bill coming up to end this, to take away our rights here. We've got to fight it, and that's what we're doing. They're coming in as the offense, pushing into our territory, and we're on the defense trying to fight this bad legislation, right? And I look at the Libertarian Lions. Well, great. You guys fight that bad legislation, and what we're going to do over here is we're going to run our own initiatives, and we're going to run our own candidates, and we're going to come around and we're going to take the offensive where you guys are on the defensive on other certain pieces of legislation or whatever it is, right? And you can choose. You can be both. You can be a porcupine, you can be a lion, doesn't matter, or whatever animal you want to be. And in Washington State, this is the first time in the Libertarian Party of Washington State's history where we're running an initiative. However, we're probably not going to collect enough signatures. We are way behind, but our guys that are doing it have gained a ton of experience. So when they run another one next year, we're going to be so much better off. You know, starting to build the support base and the volunteer base for running a statewide initiative. So look at the lion. We're able to take down the political hyenas, right, that are adamant about stealing our liberties from us. And that's why we decided to go with the lion. We're taking back our liberties because freedom means that much to us. What does it mean to you? He who has a why can endure anyhow. What is our purpose? Why are we here? These are questions that are very important. So what do I care about that is being threatened by authoritarianism? Really quick. Someone?
They're taking our rights and freedom away.
Taking your rights and freedom away for what? What rights and freedom are they stealing?
Or individual freedom and property rights.
Property rights. All right, so you have property taxes, right? They're increasing property taxes, or at least trying to. Right? If you don't pay that, what happens?
You're going to go to jail, I guess.
Lose your property. You're going to lose your property, right? You don't own that property. Well, property ownership is pretty much non-existent nowadays, right? So they're stealing from you. So if you don't get those property taxes lowered, either you're paying more money that could go towards your children's education, your future, the things that you want to do. Maybe you want to start a business, but you can't because you're having to pay $8,000, $10,000 every single year to the government.
Does that sound familiar?
Another question that's really good, what do I want to give back to the world, right? We're only here for a limited amount of time, so either we can waste that time or we can at least try to do something better, try to, I don't know, create a better future for future generations, our children, our grandchildren, so on and so forth. What do you want to give back? I want to give back liberty. And then what do you want to be known for, or what is the legacy that you want to leave? Do you want your children to remember you as someone who did something fighting for our future? Maybe you run for office. Maybe you help someone else running for office, right? Maybe you just organize your neighborhood and do a neighborhood cleanup. Something as small and simple as that. Your children are watching you. They're paying attention, right? Do you want to be known for something positive or for long stints on the couch? Or for knowing the score of every football game? There's nothing wrong with that.
Or basketball.
Or basketball, or whatever. So imagine the world our children and grandchildren will inherit if we fail to restore liberty. What is it going to look like?
Scary.
Scary, right? It's very scary. It's getting scary now. So we have the difference between a statesman and a politician. Okay? So the bill presented, does it violate the rights of others? Yes, vote no. Is it authorized by the Constitution? No, vote no. Right? This is pretty simple. In politics, if you were here last night, politics, when you break it down to its simplest form, you have poly, which means multiple, like a polygon, a multiple-sided object, and then you have ticks, which are blood-sucking parasites. And that's how I look at politics. So what we're doing is we're going out there and recruiting new libertarians. We have to talk about it. And this is how I picture it, what we're doing, right? Look at all the detail that goes in to painting one of these flowers. We're going out there in a sea of black and white, and we're introducing liberty. And one of the best tools that I've found to introduce liberty is the new Philosophy of Liberty video by Ken Schooling. You guys seen that? Write that down, Philosophy of Liberty. And if you go to lpwa.org, our website, that is the first video there. You scroll down just a little bit and there it is, the Philosophy of Liberty video. And that has helped us out tremendously to introduce people to the concept of self-ownership. But the government doesn't own you. And you can see light bulbs going off in people's heads when they watch this. So a politician thinks of the next election, a statesman of the next generation. What is a leader? It's easy. It's up on the board. A leader is someone who engages in the act of leading, guiding, or directing others through the experience of action and competence. Can you teach someone how to, I don't know, populate a database if you don't know how to populate a database? Probably not, right? Can you teach someone how to make phone calls to invite people to the convention that's coming up if you've never made phone calls to invite people to the convention? Probably not. Or you could try, right? So it's through our actions, through the skills that we've learned. Leadership is also a skill that we can learn. There's books on leadership. I wrote one, and I give it away for free, the digital version on libertarianleadership.org. And the new book, Libertarian Lion, you can also buy it on Amazon if you need a physical copy. I like to read physical books. But if you like the digital route, I give away Libertarian Leadership and the new one that's coming out for free as a PDF. It doesn't cost me anything, I don't care. I'd rather have these ideas get out there than me make money on it. So leadership is a skill anyone can learn. There's a ton of great books on leadership, and there's all kinds of different aspects to leadership. There's a lot of confusion. People think that leaders are born, not made. When I graduated high school, I had long hair to my shoulders. I was a typical stoner, right? And I think it was when I turned 21, when my son was born, I had an epiphany. Well, shit, I got to do something. Right? I was in construction, just kind of floating through life, right? Making enough money for beer and food and rent, and yeah, that's great. But I realized I needed to do something. There's skills involved with advancing ourselves, and I'll go through that here in a little bit. Leadership exists at every level of an organization. It's not just at the top. A lot of people get confused. And one thing we did in Washington, by taking the terms of leadership for the state level from 2 years to 1 year, is we get people to realize you're there for a short amount of time. You have 1 year to work as hard as you can and learn as much as you can. Then you want to step out and build someone else up. Put them in that position so they can gain those skills and those knowledge, and then you can take that knowledge that you have and that experience and work on a lower level, work on a campaign, work on a county party to get that really rolling and going. So leadership exists at every level. Volunteers knocking on doors for campaigns, making phone calls, putting up signs. Had candidates, people who volunteered and they just wanted to put up signs. That's awesome. Well, guess what happened? Once they started putting up signs, other people were like, oh, I want to put up signs too. I don't want to make phone calls, but I'll put up signs. So the first person who volunteered to put up signs, they took action, and other people saw that action and were like, hey, I'll help you. I'll go out with you. What's much easier when you got two people and you're putting up signs? You got a driver, you got someone else putting up signs. So it doesn't matter where you are in the organization, you can make an impact. Okay. The leader encourages, motivates, inspires others through their actions. Just like I said, I don't think I need to go into that too much more. By taking action, no matter how small, you are a leader. Okay, so what's this?
Dirt.
Dirt, that's good. What's this?
Really? Chinese bamboo seeds?
Chinese bamboo seeds. This is just for you, Lily. So, when Chinese bamboo is planted, and there's a specific variety of Chinese bamboo, because there's many, many different types of Chinese bamboo. There's what's called a gestation period. So the seed's in the ground, and just imagine, say you have a lawn, or if you live in an apartment, there's the grass out in front of the apartment, and you decided to rip up all the grass. It's all gone, right? Your wife thinks you're crazy, or your significant other. You ripped it all up, and you planted Chinese bamboo, and you go out there every day, and you water every other day. You're out there watering the dirt. Pretty soon your neighbors are looking at you. What are you doing? Years, 4 years go by, and you're out there watering the dirt. After those 4 years, something amazing happens, is that it starts popping out of the ground. Look how wide that is, popping out of the ground, okay? It'll grow 5 feet in 12 days, 22 feet in 20 days, and 90 feet in 6 weeks. It's incredible, right? What was it doing for the first 4 years?
Ready to grow.
Getting ready. What was it growing?
Roots.
Roots. It was growing underground. It was building that foundation that could hold up all that growth, right? The root system. It's a foundation for success. And it's the same thing as we're going out and learning new skills and practicing. One requirement I have for all of our candidates to get my support, they can still run, anyone can still run. But to get my support is they have to commit to running for office a minimum of 3 times. Why? Because I know this right here. The first time they run for office, they're building their root system. How do I deal with newspaper inquiries, right? How do I bring in new volunteers? How do I raise money? You know, getting their campaign website up. It's a huge hurdle. But once it's done in their first campaign, in the next campaign, they change 2014 to 2016. And it's already done. That's that foundation for success. Oh yeah. We're just going to set that down. It all comes down to beginner psychology. Okay? So there's been a book that has came out recently called 10,000 Hours. Okay? And in that book it says to become an expert, to become a master at anything, you need to spend 10,000 hours working on it. And then right after that book came out, another book came out. I can't remember the title of the book right now, but talks about how it's something like 20 hours. So what they found is that, yeah, it may take 10,000 hours to become an expert, but to become competent, good enough, right? You need to spend about 20 hours learning something. So that just took 10,000 hours, it took it down to 20 hours. Because I'm good enough at graphic design. I'm good enough at building websites. I'm good enough at making phone calls. I'm good enough at all the skills needed to run a state political party, to run a political campaign, writing letters to the editor. I'm good enough just because I put in enough time to be good enough. Something needs to get done, well, let's figure out how to do it. Now, this is what we have to learn ourselves, the concept, and then be able to teach it to others. I've had so many people, you know, they look to me as the leader. Well, you can do this for me. Hey, I need to get this done. And my response is, have you checked Google? Have you looked at Google? Have you looked at instructions? Have you researched that? So when I wanted to write my first book, like I said, I didn't go to college. I don't know how to write a book. So I typed into Google how to write a book. And there's all kinds of instructions on how to do it. And you read through it, you can pick the one that best fits with your style. Write an outline, write the key topics down, expand on those topics, keep writing, just keep writing. And eventually, you got a bunch of crap. And then you send it over to an editor, and they take your crap, and they turn it into good. And you're like, hey, here we go, we got a book.
You mean you send to Google editor?
No, there's a website called Odesk, and it's for subcontractors, and they go and they offer their services, and you can hire an editor really cheap to go through your work and do content editing or grammar punctuation editing. And it's really easy. Send it through. It only costs me a couple $100. They go through it, and they send their suggestions, and then you look over their suggestions, and there you go. But there's information online, videos, Robert's Rules. Oh my gosh, right? Robert's Rules of Order. This book is like 10,000 pages long. There's videos online that are free that'll explain the main motion, right? Making a motion, making an amendment for a motion, right? They're broken down to like 3-minute videos. Oh, this is great. I learned Robert's Rules from videos on YouTube. It's a great quote. I've not failed, I just found 10,000 ways that won't work. In my first book, Libertarian Leadership, there's a couple concepts in there that I'm going to be taking out. They worked in the beginning, tried it, and you realize, yeah, this doesn't really work. So we're going to take it out. And we're going to try something new. So it's okay to take risks and try something, and if it doesn't work, that's great, because you know not to do that again. You know? So a lot of people think that there's two paths in life. Okay, one path leads to success, and the other path leads to failure. Right? It looks something like this. What most people think, but what successful people know, is that there's only one path that leads to success, and along that path, there's going to be all these failures. Bam, 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 bam. Who's familiar with Abraham Lincoln?
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Did you know how many times he ran for office before he finally won? Like 5 times. He ran for office 5 times and finally won. We have Susan Marie Weber, Libertarian elected to Palm Desert City Council. She ran for city council 4 times and was finally elected on that 4th time. Finally elected. You know, she just kept at it, just kept at it. You know, 4 failures to reach the success. Built up her campaign team, built up her donor base. She raised a good chunk of money to win that seat. And if she wouldn't have run those 3 times before, she would not have won that 4th time.
Is that the highest libertarian office so that the people, libertarians won the city council level? Do you have any like a
State legislator back.
Yeah, back in 2000.
80s, 90s.
which state was that?
We had Alaska, we had some New Hampshire.
New
Okay,
Hampshire,
so we
yeah.
have the state house. Okay.
Currently, I think mayors are probably the
Mayor
highest.
is the highest right now.
Yeah, which we're looking to change very soon.
Yeah, let's fix that.
Just after a couple more failures, we'll get there.
Sheriff, county sheriff, and a coroner, which is
Nice.
like the sheriff here in Colorado.
Oh, awesome.
But nobody ever made it to Washington yet, right?
Not yet.
Not yet. I love that. Nice.
Gotta hire a go.
Yeah, exactly. I failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Michael Jordan. Okay, so we're going to get into a concept called Go for No. All right. There's a book titled Go for No. It's about 70 pages long. It's specifically for sales, that I've adapted for politics, because I figured out that politics is pretty much sales. You're trying to sell your political ideology or sell your candidates or yourself to get votes, right? So the question you have to ask yourself when you're thinking about learning a new skill, will I be better off, remain the same, be worse off by taking this action and not succeeding? You run for office and you don't succeed. Will you be better off, remain the same, or be worse off? So let's say the skill you want to learn is door knocking, right? Going up to random people's houses and asking for votes, or introducing your candidate, or introducing your initiative, whatever it is. Okay, so let's say you're knocking on doors, and let's say the person at the door says no. I don't want anything to do with you libertarians, Tea Partiers, whatever, right? You want everyone to die in the streets, right? So would you be, are you better off, worse off, or do you remain the same from that answer?
Better off.
Better off.
Why?
You got to come up with some kind of rebuttal to, I think, trying to have a conversation with that person, because that person rejected at the beginning.
Sure.
But you've made the effort.
Yes.
Without the effort, it's
So
always a no.
you
You're also
know,
closer to the yes.
you're closer to the yes, that's correct. With that specific situation, you are way better off because you know never to go there again. If they are that adamant about hating libertarians, you can keep at it, you can stay persistent, but what I found is when you find someone that adamant about hating you, it's probably best to just leave them to their own accord and not bug them.
So, your suggestion don't ever go back to it again?
Certain houses I wouldn't. Now, however, if you get this response, if you get a maybe, they're stuck in the middle. I don't know very much about libertarians, I don't know very much about politics. That right there, that's another positive, right? It's a maybe. That's when you ask more questions. Okay, well, what issue is most concerning to you? Right? You can dig down deeper. You can find out, you know, well, it's education. My kid's schools suck. Great. Well, we have, you know, a voucher system that we're trying to propose, a step in the right direction, something like that. You can dig into it further, ask some questions, or you can set up a meeting to come back, right? You can keep at it. A maybe, it's not a yes, it's not a no, but if you stay persistent, you can turn it into a yes, right? And then, ta-da! Are you better off, worse off, or do you remain the same? You're definitely better off. However, you learn more from a maybe and from a no than you do from getting a yes. Okay? If someone agrees with you, that's great. You got them, you write them down, you invite them to your next Liberty on the Rocks or whatever it is that you guys do locally, and you're good to go. You got a vote. You got a new supporter. And I look at politics kind of like video games, or with any skill, it's kind of like video games. Does anyone ever play like a first-person video game? So your character is going through, and as you fight these guys and do whatever, you're gaining experience, XP, right? Your experience goes up, and you level up in the game, right? Your character gets stronger, right? More adapted, fighting, you know, more powerful beasts or whatever in the game. But it's the same thing with all the skills that we're learning. As we learn these skills, we get better, right? When you go to this house and the person, you know, opens the door and says, I hate libertarians, you have a fantastic day, and you move on. and you're able to get through it, and you're able to do it with a smile, because you think to yourself, wow, that person must be having a shitty day, right? It's on them, it's not on you. And it's only through getting those no's and getting that rejection will you gain the strength to be able to move on to the yeses. All right, here's a book right here. Yes is the destination, no is how to get there. I highly recommend it. It'll take you literally, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes to read. So 2 letters from greatness, no. No stops a lot of people dead in their tracks, and especially new volunteers. We've seen this, making phone calls. And now we do a little training before phone calls and training before knocking on doors to get them prepared for hearing this. Because a lot of people, they won't take risks in life because they're afraid of what rejection does to them. It makes them feel bad. They think they're actually being rejected themselves. But it's not. You look at it like this. Let's say, I'll use myself as an example. Let's say I'm trying to go out and get a date, okay? And would I have better odds if I asked 1 woman or 20? 20, right? Asking for 1 date, so I keep asking until I get a date, to get 20 dates. So you get that first no, you say next, right? You go to another one, you say next, 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 until you find one that fits. So that's how rejection works. You don't look at it as they're rejecting me, they just want something different, and that's okay, everyone's an individual. So I'm going to go through the 5 levels of failure. How much time do I have?
10 minutes.
10
Long
minutes.
as you want.
If you buy them out, you got another hour, 10 minutes.
So level 1, yeah, I've got options. How badly do you want to go through all this? I'm going to run through this real quick though. Level 1 is the ability to fail. Everyone has the ability to fail. Would you agree?
Yeah.
It's just those of us who take the risks and actually go for it. And that goes on to the next level, is the willingness to fail. And that's level 2. So you realize that to get more out of life, whatever it is, your relationships, professional career, politics, you have to have the willingness to fail, the willingness to try new things and learn new skills. The third level is the wantingness to fail. So this is where you've taken it to the next level. Having the wantingness to fail goes beyond the mere tolerance or acceptance of failure as a part of life. Wantingness means that you're developing the desire to fail with the inner faith that personal growth will follow. It's not just tolerating the no's anymore, you're beginning to seek them out, and rejection is starting to become fun. Because you know that there will be benefit to it. And you know you just have to keep going through the failure to get there. Level 4, failing bigger and faster. People who ascend to level 4 are those who have come to the conclusion that if failing is good, then failing faster is better. And not just failing faster, but if you're going to increase your failure rate, do it going after big goals that are worthy of the effort, like running for office. You're already there, right?
I failed last year.
I think you're at level 5, though. That's a good thing. This is actually the worst. You don't want to be at level 1. You want to be at level 5. Failing exponentially, a lot of us in here are already at level 5. Okay, the final level is for those rare individuals who understand that massive success requires a multiplication of efforts. Okay, level 5 people enlist others to fail with them. Knowing that if individual success is good, then if individual failure means individual success, then group failure means group success, right?
Well, group here, fighting
Exactly.
Many days I can't do.
The bigger your campaign team is, the more people going out and failing, whether they're knocking on doors or making phone calls or going to meetings or whatever it is, the more successful you're going to be.
And we both almost got escorted out of the Capitol.
As long as we stick with it, right? Long-term vision, short-term goals.
Well, take 2 politicians to pick me and pick her, really hammered us at the Capitol in front of our DVD, so players.
Trying to show us stuff, actually.
Really?
But they didn't, did they? And we were told
can never show
afterwards
us.
that they fear us, that they did that because they fear us.
Of course they do.
Because we poke their sore point. We poke their sore point.
Well, what do you expect when you tell them they're acting like communists and you tell them they're acting like Nazis?
So what is the most empowering word in the world?
No.
Correct, it's no. Hearing yes is the easy part and teaches us virtually nothing, but learning to hear no over and over and over again and to persevere, now that builds character and that is empowering. Numbing yourself to no isn't about ignoring it, it's about experiencing it so often that it eventually loses power over you. So yes is the destination. I don't know why that slide's there. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting in the face of fear. It's being afraid of something and doing it anyways. Now let's talk about fear. F-E-A-R. It's actually an acronym for multiple phrases. So fear, fantasize, experiences appearing real. If you go and knock on the door, is there any chance? Well, there is a chance. If you're making a phone call, I've had a gun pulled on me before, so. If you're making a phone call and the person says no, are you going to be physically hurt? No, you're not going to be physically hurt. There really is no danger to that. We'll talk about that story after this. So it's all made up in our imaginations. A lot of this fear is, right?
Say Mike, that my two biggest fear, it's not what you listed. It's one, I got a watch by two government, include Chinese government. And second one, I might get a tax audit from IRS.
Yeah, but we're going to die anyways, so who cares?
Oh, of course, but we have to constantly manage that. You know.
So another way to look at it is we have two choices. When fear comes up, we can either forget everything and run, which is what a lot of people do, right? A lot of people do that. Or we can face everything and rise.
Yeah.
Face everything and rise, and that's what we're doing. Oh, here's our results from the 2014 campaign season. We had some great results, even though they're only two-way races, a lot of them. You know, 33% of the vote, 32% of the vote, 30% of the vote, you know. And all these guys are running again. And they're going to get better results next time. Rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Like I said, I've got a new book coming up. Fill out that form in front of you for email updates. I haven't been doing a lot of training videos lately. After the election season last year, I kind of focused on business. But as we pick things up again, rolling into the 2015 and 2016 election seasons, there's going to be more content on there, a ton of videos. So, thank you very much. Questions? Yes.
Thank you.
First question, how many times did you run for office? Second question, are you part of the millennial generation? And tell us a little bit more about your generation, what you think about the libertarian movement.
Okay, so the first question is, how many times do you run for office?
Did you run? Yeah.
Did I run? I'm running in 2016. So I have not ran for office yet, but I've gained a lot of experience helping other candidates and helping set up their campaigns. And then the second question is, how does my generation feel? You know, I don't really look at people as in terms of generation, because they're all individuals, and I really hate the whole labeling of groups type thing. But we have a lot of young people coming to our convention and coming into leadership positions within our party. I'm 30, right? And there's guys that are just getting out of high school, you know, all the way up, however. But one good measurement that we found from our last convention is that starting a convention at 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday after a Friday night mixer is not going to fly. There's people literally up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, Friday night. So what we've done is we started the convention at noon on Saturday.
So they party the night before, huh?
So they could party the night before. So that shows you the generation, the type of, the age of the participants in Washington. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, I know you guys are probably hungry. It's been a long morning. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
Is that yours? No.